Hey, Talo Falava. This is Leotard Dr. John Peterson with TE2 Sports Cards. Coming at you live and direct from the basement here in Richfield, Minnesota, first suburb of Minneapolis, Minnesota, part of the Twin Cities metropolitan area. Hope everybody's doing good out there. Haven't done a whole lot of videos here in the last couple weeks. Been on vacation. Did one a couple days back and then did one yesterday, a Card Hunters episode, which was a lot of fun. Definitely looking forward to seeing how those cards turn out. If you haven't had a chance to check that episode out, check it out. It's called A Unique Hunt. It's a card hunters episode where I hunt around for some cards, and this one is a particularly unique situation. So check it out if you get a chance. Definitely something that you'll find interesting, and I'll do another video reveal when the cards come in the FedEx package. So, well, today I wanted to share some, what I'm calling the good, the bad, and the ugly. Or the ugly, the bad, and the good, however you want to state it. I do have some really good news that I'm going to share a little bit later on in another video or two after the item arrives. I did really well on a card recently. It's probably my most valuable card, and we'll share that a little bit later, the success with the arbitrage on that. But you know, you're going to win some and you're going to lose some with cards. There's no doubt about that. The big thing is you got to keep in the game, and you got to take calculated risks, as I call them. So sometimes you win and sometimes you lose, unfortunately. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do so. Hit the like button, hit the notification button, bell, whatever it's called, and leave me a comment. I'm definitely going to solicit for people's advice in this video today because I got a bit of a conundrum, and I'm hoping that some of you can help me out and figure out what I should do next. So a couple cards that I picked up recently. High Bid Auctions is based out of Wisconsin. I don't know if they're in other places too, but I did pick up this card recently, which is a 1959 Fleer Ted Williams. This one's called Ted Crashlands Jet. It's one of the more valuable ones. I mean, it's not super valuable, but I got it for like $6, and in a 7 it's probably worth 40 or 50 bucks. So picked this up recently. I thought that was a cool card. A lot of folks may or may not know that Ted Williams was a fighter pilot with the Marines, and flew a number of missions and won a number of awards for the armed forces and his service in the armed forces during both World War II and the Korean War. I think the guy lost like 3, 4, or 5 years to service. So had he not lost those years, Ted probably would have hit 650, 700 home runs, batted 325, 330 for his career, and had over 2,000 RBIs. So anyway, thought I'd show that card to you guys. Another card I picked up I'm really happy with. I picked this up off of a Facebook group. There's a group called 1956 Tops. It's just all about 1956 Tops, which of course is my favorite set, as you guys know. Picked this Koufax up. I paid $300 for it. You know, would it be nice to have a nicer copy? Yeah, for sure. But given what I've already invested in the 56 Tops cards, I figured I'd go with a mid-grade. I think this is probably a 4, maybe a 5, but probably closer to a 4, 4.5. Which is cool. Card centered, which is the big thing for me. And it's one of the 56 Tops cards that I didn't have. It's a white back. So $300, I thought that was a pretty good deal. All right, starting off with the ugly. If you recall, I picked up a 1956 Tops Hank Aaron in a near mint 7 PSA slab. The slab had the lighthouse on it, so it was recently graded. I picked the card up off of eBay from Andy Medek Cards and Collectibles out of Camarillo, California. And I paid a good amount for this card. In fact, I probably overpaid for the card. In fact, I did. But I really liked this copy. I thought this copy was in really nice shape. And honestly, I didn't see any reason why this wasn't an 8. You know, they say you buy the card, not necessarily the slab or the grade. And to me, this card really looked like an 8. So what I did was, and also too, so yeah, it'd been authenticated and certified by PSA, of course, but then it came with this called MBA Gold Diamond certification after a 10-point inspection process. Mike Baker, who has 30 plus years of technical grading, ensures the integrity of high-end examples. So it was authenticated once by PSA, once by this guy, Mike Baker, and then also went through the eBay authentication process. So I sent it in to CSG along with the other 56s that I had shared with you a number of videos back. And guess what happened? It didn't come back slabbed. The card came back raw. They said it was EV, evidence of trimming. And they said the trimming was down here in the bottom right-hand corner. Actually, they had the card like this. And they said there's a tiny bit of trimming that occurred up here. Needless to say, I was really disappointed because I was hoping that this card would come back as a 7.5 or even an 8 in a CSG slab. You all know that I want to do the 56 top set in CSG, or at least the big stars, maybe not every single card, but I already have quite a few cards in 56 tops that are in slabs from CSG. So needless to say, I was crushed because this has been authenticated by PSA. Of course, it was authenticated in the PSA case. So I'm wondering what you all think I should do. Should I try and sell it raw? Should I, which some people might think would be a little less than ethical, knowing that, I mean, I don't think it's trimmed. I've looked at it under the loupe and I can't tell that it's trimmed. I don't think that corner or that side, this edge, isn't any different than any of these edges over here or any of the edges down here. So I don't know. It's still a beautiful card and it doesn't have to be slabbed, but I kind of want to slab it. So should I send it back to PSA? Should I send it to SGC? I could go with the sub and send it to Got Baseball Cards and they could submit it. Maybe I'd have better luck with that. I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss, a bit of a conundrum with this card. Definitely disappointed that this turned out the way that it did. But I'm going to have to figure something out because I've got a bunch invested into this card. I love the card and I definitely want to get it slabbed. So let me know what you think in the comments, what I should do. I'd be curious to see what ideas you all have. I know that we've got some great folks who have subscribed to the channel, and I really appreciate your wisdom. If you could share some ideas with me, I'll definitely take that into consideration. So that's the ugly, even though it's a beautiful card. Next up is the 1956 Ernie Banks. So what I did with this card is I arbitraged it. I had it in an old CSG slab, or an old CSG labeled slab, and it was a 6.5. All right. I thought I'd get maybe a 7 on it because the grading was different. Grading was a little bit easier, I thought. What'd I get? A 6. So this is part of the bad. What I showed you before was the ugly. This is the bad. This isn't a terribly expensive card. I mean, it's worth a few $100, but to go from a 6.5 to a 6, how does that work? How does that work, CSG? So I've always been very up on and positive about CSG being consistent and reliable and accurate in their grading. But what does that say? If this was a 6.5 and now it's a 6, like how did it go from a 6.5 to a 6? I don't get it based on the new grading scale. So needless to say, wasn't pleased with this. Wasn't pleased with this at all. In fact, I might end up moving this card just because of that. We'll see. Still a great card. I love Banks, and you know, I was hoping for a 7, but there you go. All right, here's another bad. I'd say this is borderline ugly. So a lot of you may remember this card. I have 2 of these cards. I've got this one and I've got another one that's being sent or actually it's in a box. I'm going to do a mail day reveal here on another video here in just a little bit. So this was a 6.5. Picked this up from a guy from Alabama, and was thinking, geez, if it's a 6.5 in the old slab, maybe I'll get a 7 on this. You know, that's what I was hoping for when I cracked it. Well, what did I get? And again, the centering was 6.5, which led me to believe that it could be a 7, because centering is more easily graded with the newest grading system for CSG. Corners were 6, edges 7.5, and surface was 8.5. 5. A freaking 5. How in the world, CSG, do you go from a 6.5 to a 5? I'm sorry, but that is terrible. That is terrible. That's PSA-like. So CSG has got to get its shit together, because that ain't cool. To go from a 6.5 to a 5, give me a break. So I'm probably gonna crack this and send it to Got Baseball Cards along with the Aaron. I may crack the Banks too. I know it seems crazy, but I only paid a little bit to have these cards slabbed in these CSG holders. But let me know what you think I should do with this. Should I just leave it? Should I just accept the fact that they've graded it a 5? I mean, does the grade even really matter? I mean, it matters, but like, does it really matter? You know, I can easily crack this and resubmit it through Got Baseball Cards, which is a preferred partner. So anyway, that wasn't really cool. That was not cool at all. Probably, I mean, I paid $1,200 for this card. No, was it 12 or 13? $1,300 for this card. And in a 5, I don't know. I'd be lucky if I could get $1,000 for this. And probably closer to $750, $800. That's a $500 loss potentially. So, like I said, you win some and you lose some. Lost that one. Big time. Big time, big time, big time. Definitely disappointed. So you might be wondering, so Dr. Peterson, John, what's the good? All right, well, the good is real good. It's not great, but I'd say it's real good. So as you recall, this was a 7.5. This 56 Mays. Centering was 8.5. Corners were 7. Edges were 7.5. Surface was 8.5. I ended up getting a 7.5 on it, so it didn't change. So thankfully, they didn't decrease the grade for this card, which is the big card. 7.5 in this. I probably put $4,500 on this card, and I paid $23 for it. So I don't know if I can double my money on this if I do end up selling it, which I'm not super inclined nor in a rush to sell this. But let's scoot this up a little bit, give you a little closer look. Real nice card. Now this probably is a 7 for PSA, which is too bad because I think it's actually an 8. But to get the 7.5, some people are like, the half grades aren't great. Well, would you rather have this in a PSA slab as a 7 or a CSG slab in a 7.5? Personally, I'd take the CSG in a 7.5, especially as we continue down the Fanatics path. But I don't know. I think that's fantastic, a 7.5. So it takes a little bit of the edge off of this being a 5. But I'm really strongly considering cracking those. I'm not going to crack this. This is going to stay. And submitting the Clemente and the Banks and the Aaron all together with Got Baseball Cards, and see if their name and reputation can get me a little bit more credibility and better grade with CSG. So that's what I got for you guys today. I'm going to set the Willie up here. And appreciate you watching. Keep it a little short and sweet here today. Everybody have a blessed day out there. Peace out. One love.